Hello, and welcome back to Dr. Alicia's Med Talk, where we explore the fascinating ways our minds and bodies shape our daily lives. Today, we're diving into some truly eye-opening psychological facts about human behavior, insights that can help us understand not only why others behave the way they do, but also uncover hidden truths about ourselves. From how our early memories shape our identity to why a simple act of kindness can actually help us live longer, the human mind is as complex as it is captivating. Let's begin by talking about memories specifically, why our minds often return to our early adulthood. Have you ever noticed how older adults seem to recall stories from their 20s with vivid detail, or how coming-of-age movies resonate so deeply with us? This phenomenon, known as the reminiscence bump, describes the brain's tendency to retain powerful emotional memories from adolescence and early adulthood. During this time of life, we experience major milestones: graduating, falling in love, becoming independent, or becoming parents. These emotionally intense, identity-defining events become etched into our memory and continue influencing our beliefs and decisions for decades. That's because those years are closely tied to the development of our self-concept. Now, if you're stuck on a personal problem, one effective way to approach it might surprise you. Try pretending it's someone else's issue. Research shows that when people think about their own problems, they often become emotionally clouded and less rational. But when imagining the same situation happening to a friend, people offer much clearer, more practical advice. This is known as Solomon's paradox. Essentially, we become wiser when viewing our own struggles from a third-person perspective. So next time you face a dilemma, mentally step outside of it and try to advise yourself like you would a dear friend. You'll likely make a better decision. Speaking of self-awareness, there's an ironic cognitive bias that's far more common than we realize. The Dunning-Kruger effect. It's a psychological phenomenon where people with low ability in a particular area tend to overestimate their competence. These individuals don't recognize their own lack of knowledge because, quite frankly, their skill level is too low for accurate self-assessment. You've probably seen this play out in meetings or family gatherings. Someone confidently explaining something they clearly misunderstand while everyone else quietly cringes. The truth is, the more knowledgeable we become, the more we realize how much we still don't know. Now, let's talk about pets, particularly dogs, and what our choice in pets says about us. Studies have shown that individuals who display more aggressive tendencies are more likely to own dogs perceived as aggressive, such as Rottweilers or Pit Bulls. It's not necessarily that these dogs are bad. Many are loving and loyal, but some people may choose such breeds to match or project their own personality. Interestingly, environmental factors like chronic stress, neighborhood safety, and social isolation can also influence both a person's aggression levels and their dog preferences. It seems we don't just gravitate toward friends and partners who reflect us. Our pets may be part of that mirror too. Shifting gears to something that often gets a bad reputation, daydreaming, while zoning out during a lecture or meeting, is often frowned upon. Research suggests that a wandering mind might be a sign of a more efficient brain. People who daydream regularly tend to score higher on intelligence and creativity tests. Their brains are wired to process information more quickly, allowing them to toggle between reality and imagination effortlessly. So, if your thoughts drift occasionally, don't beat yourself up. It might mean your brain is simply working smarter. Another fascinating fact is that rejection hurts, and not just emotionally. Studies using brain imaging have found that social rejection activates the same brain regions associated with physical pain. That gut-wrenching feeling you get when someone ghosts you, criticizes you, or excludes you. It's not just metaphorical. Your brain experiences it as a form of real, literal pain. This connection between emotional and physical pain shows how deeply we're wired for social connection. Human beings are social creatures, and being rejected threatens our sense of belonging, which our brains interpret as a survival threat. Here's another mind-bending insight. Speaking a foreign language can actually change how you make decisions. When we use a second language, we tend to make more rational and less emotionally driven choices. Why? Because foreign language processing engages different areas of the brain, those involved in inhibition and logic, forcing us to slow down and think through our decisions more carefully. This reduced emotional bias leads to more calculated, less impulsive thinking. So if you're facing a big decision and you're bilingual, try reasoning it out in your second language. You might surprise yourself with your own wisdom. Let's now explore something we're all guilty of: double standards and judgment. It's easy to label a stranger who cuts you off in traffic as rude or inconsiderate. But when you do the same thing, you probably justify it by saying you were in a rush or distracted. This inconsistency is known as the fundamental attribution error. We tend to blame other people's actions on their personality while excusing our own behavior based on the situation. It's a built-in bias that helps us protect ourselves, but being aware of it can foster empathy and reduce conflict. We're also strangely blind to the ways we ourselves are influenced by media and advertising. This is referred to as the third-person effect. We assume others are more vulnerable to marketing, persuasion, or propaganda than we are. Ironically, this very assumption makes us more susceptible to being influenced without realizing it. Whether it's an ad for a luxury car or a political message online, these subtle cues shape our beliefs and desires more than we care to admit. Our brains like to believe we're independent thinkers, but often, we're not as objective as we'd like to believe. That leads us to dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Most people associate dopamine with pleasure from food, sex, or shopping, but one of its lesser-known effects is that it fuels our desire to seek information. This dopamine-seeking loop is what drives us to endlessly scroll through social media, news feeds, or YouTube videos, constantly looking for the next hit of novelty or stimulation. Unfortunately, this loop has no off switch. The more we find, the more we crave, and we rarely feel fully satisfied. That's why it's so hard to stop scrolling once you've started. But perhaps the most heartwarming discovery of all is this: helping others can actually extend your life. Studies have shown that volunteering, whether it's your time, skills, or resources, reduces stress, improves mood, and enhances overall life satisfaction. People who regularly give back to their communities report better health outcomes and even tend to live longer than those who don't. The act of giving creates a sense of purpose and connection, both of which are vital for mental and physical well-being. It also reduces loneliness, increases social interaction, and gives the brain a dose of those feel-good hormones like oxytocin and serotonin. What's remarkable about all these psychological insights is that they offer a window into the inner workings of the human mind, its logic, its biases, its fears, and its brilliance. And while much of this research is still evolving, it opens up important conversations about how we understand ourselves and relate to the people around us. These studies, though often based on small sample sizes, reveal universal truths about human behavior. They challenge us to be more self-aware, more compassionate, and more mindful of the patterns that govern our decisions. Whether it's learning to approach our problems with a third-person perspective, recognizing the emotional sting of rejection, or simply understanding why we can't stop checking our phones. Every one of these insights helps us decode the beautiful complexity of being human. So, the next time you find yourself daydreaming, judging someone too quickly, or feeling inexplicably hurt by someone's words, take a breath and remember your brain is doing exactly what it's wired to do. But with awareness comes power, and with power comes change. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Dr. Alicia's Med Talk. If you enjoyed today's deep dive into the psychology of human behavior, be sure to subscribe, share this with someone curious like you, and stay tuned for more science-based wisdom to support your health, happiness, and peace of mind. Until next time, take care of your brain, it's the only one you've got.